Yo dudes!
Today we're creating for you a classic English dish with our friends Waitrose.
Waitrose are a wonderful supermarket in the UK. We've been working with them for a number of years. And if you do live in the UK, we write a column in their Waitrose Weekend magazine or paper once a month. Do check it out. And they're great supporters of the vegan movement.
Today we're making for you a steak and kidney pie, obviously vegan. A classic, our take on the British classic.
Okay, so normally it would be steak and kidney, obviously. We're gonna show you how to make an incredible oyster mushroom steak by really using 2 pans, different technique. Then we're gonna serve with kidney beans. This is an incredibly tasty, decadent dish.
Okay, so steak and kidney pie is typically served with a pint of beer and a football match. But today we're gonna serve it with a glass of kombucha and a few sun salutations.
Okay, great recipe, super tasty, great take on the original English classic. Here we go.
First step, we've got 400 grams of oyster mushrooms and we're going to chop them into small slices. Obviously you can use whatever kind of mushroom you find. We just find oyster to be one of the meatiest of them. Okay, so we've got 400 grams of oyster mushrooms. We've sliced them lengthwise. They're nice and long, as you can see, and delicious. And I'm literally going to add a tablespoon of the finest olive oil to it.
And a tablespoon of David's Magic Black Sauce, also known as tamari.
And I'm just going to mix this well. Okay, so I've got a pan on a high heat, a nice wide bottom pan preferably. I'm going to go in with another tablespoon of oil. And we're going to add all our mushrooms in here.
Oh. So this is a wonderful technique where you can maximize the browning, flavor development, and really turn these mushrooms into steak-like. So take another pan, ideally a wide bottom heavy pan, and really try to apply pressure down it. And what we're doing is we're trying to put the surface area of the oyster mushroom down on the heat source to maximize browning and flavor development. And I'm going to hold it there just for a couple of minutes. There is actually quite a lot of moisture in mushrooms, you'd be surprised. And what we're trying to do is evaporate a lot of the moisture so it can start to really brown and to fry. So you'll see even through doing that, there's a nice bit of browning starting to occur. So that did take about 5 or 6 minutes to really kind of draw as much moisture and really try to incorporate as much browning as possible in our flavor.
So see, they're really beautiful and they're seared, they're delicious.
Oh, look at that flavor. Look at the browning there, for magnificent.
The next step we're going to do is make our gravy, and this is a great way of incorporating the flavor that's on the pan from the mushrooms. So I've got 800 ml of veg stock. I'm going to literally add in 6 tablespoons of veg stock here. And we're going to do a technique called deglazing. Deglazing is literally where you deglaze the flavor that's on the pan, and you're going to add it back in here as the stock. Turn the pan off the heat. My brother's going to scrape all this flavor off, and we'll add it back into the stock.
So when you're cooking, you really don't want to lose any flavour that you've developed. So there was a huge amount of flavour there that was stuck to the pan that some people might clean down the sink, but that's so important to incorporate.
Okay, we've got another pan on a high heat. This is where we're going to make our roux, and then we're going to make our gravy on the back of that.
So typically a roux is used to thicken any sauce. It's in 4 out of the 5 French mother sauces, and today we're going to make a stock and roux thickened, delicious gravy.
Beautiful. So I've got a small pot on a high heat. I'm going to add in 6 tablespoons of oil. Use whatever oil you have. In on top of the oil, I've got 6 tablespoons of flour.
So roux is equal part fat and starch.
And you really do want to whisk it so you don't get any lumps. So as soon as it starts to boil, we're going to reduce it down to a low heat and just stirring it for another minute until the starch incorporates with the fat. After about a minute, we're going to add in our stock. We've got 800 ml. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of garlic powder too. I find garlic powder works really well with veg stock. And I've got a couple of bay leaves I'm going to add in too. I will take them out before we're finished. And finally, 1 tablespoon of tamari.
That'll add that lovely umami note and really help bring this gravy together.
So I'm going to turn the heat back up full and bring it to the boil. What we're going to do is this is going to really thicken right up. Okay, so I'm going to move this to the side and I'm going to leave this simmer away, and we're going to get on with the next step.
So pan on high heat, we're going to go in with a tablespoon of olive oil.
I've got prepped 2 onions, I've got 4 cloves of garlic, and I've prepped 100 grams of carrots, so approximately half a carrot. We're going to add them in.
We want to really brown the onion here so we can incorporate it into our gravy and really get that kind of browny, rich for the steak and kidney pie.
In on top of that, I've got a few sprigs of thyme. I think thyme goes so well in the steak and kidney pie. Just gives so much flavour. Any kind of gravy or rich kind of dishes, it goes great. So the onions are brown, the kitchen is smelling fantastic. We're on the homeward stretch. It's time to pull this dish together.
Okay, so we have our oyster mushroom steak, in it goes.
So this really will be the kind of steaky, meaty, substantial bit of the dish.
And would add a real grizzle in terms of mouthfeel and texture.
Okay, I've reduced the temperature down to low now. Okay, obviously this is a steak and kidney pie. That is our mock
Also
steak.
known as a Sydney pie. Did you know? Okay, next step, kidney. So enter the kidney bean.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we've taken 1 can, we've drained and rinsed them, and we're just pouring them straight in. Another item we're gonna add in is just a pinch of smoked paprika. So it's just a small pinch.
Okay, so I've just taken out the 2 bay leaves out of our gravy.
Sauce. So you see it has thickened up nicely, and as it hits the pan, it's going to thicken up further. And what I'm trying to do here is to really incorporate any browning that's in the bottom of the pan there, just again to use this opportunity to deglaze the pan and really incorporate as much flavour as possible. Last and final thing before we bring this dish together is just to season with salt and pepper. I'm going in with a little pinch of salt.
And I'm going to go with a pinch of black pepper.
So you'll see how much this sauce has thickened. You see it's really nice. It's quite a gravy, thick, syrupy, just coating, delicious magicness.
It tastes amazing as well. Okay, so we preheated the oven to 180 degrees.
We have blind baked a pie dish, so just to show you here. So we've taken store-bought puff pastry. You'll buy it down the freezer section. Most of it, you'll be surprised, is actually vegan. We've taken just a simple pastry dish like this, or pie dish. We've blind baked it, meaning what we've done is we've just simply put some baking parchment and some lentils on top of it, baked it for 15 minutes to seal it so it won't go all gooey. I'm going to take a knife here and just clean around the edges.
Okay, so I'm simply going to ladle it in.
So this is our second sheet of puff pastry. We got this in Waitrose down the freezer section.
Okay, so great tip for trimming off the edges, just to take a simple scissors and chop around the edges.
We're going to take a fork then just to seal our pastry or our pie. We're just going to go around. It adds a nice effect to it, and it also just really brings it together so that our pie is sealed. And last and final step is just to pierce the pie, just to allow some moisture to evaporate, so we'll end up with a crispier pie. We're going to dust this with a little bit of oat milk. So just take a pastry brush and just literally just coat the top.
Okay, so we've preheated the oven, as I said, to 180 degrees, and we're going to bake it for approximately 20 minutes until it turns golden. Okay, time for our steak and kidney pie.
It took about 25 minutes in the oven, and it is crispy, delicious, and looking like it wants to be devoured.
The whole kitchen just smells of...
Now, the big
Yummy.
question, how best to attack the pie? Knife and fork or spoon? What do you reckon? Let us know below. I'm going to try to be sophisticated here.
I think I'm going to go barbaric.
Puff pastry has puffed up elegantly. Whoa, a lot of pastry.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Oh. Jeez, that gravy, look at that. Just gooey, magic-y. Look at that smoke. Oh. Wow. That is so...
Decadent, elaborate, yummy, nourishing. This worked great as any centerpiece for any kind of sharing dinner or celebratory dinner.
It's a savoury bomb, delicious, decadent, tastes like a belly hug, tastes like...
Great with a few roast
Sit
potatoes.
inside by the fire on a cold, rainy night. Dudes, thank you for watching. Sending
for
all our
subscribing.
love. Check out Waitrose and bye!